Pursuing unconventional passions can lead to unique jobs. This week, meet the watchman of the stars in South Africa. The women parkour team taking over Egypt. And the custodian of the bees in Eswatini. Their stories ahead. On the move, changing perceptions, pushing limits. Today's Africa is not framed by the past. A new generation is stepping up, embracing tradition while blazing a new path. Giving voice to unique style, connected in ways others before were not. This is where the urban pulse meets creativity and a new culture thrives. This is African Voices.
Yeah, when people ask, what are you guys doing up there on the mountain? You're tampering with God's work. My answer to them is, if He gave us this whole universe around us as a present, wouldn't He want us to open this present and have a look inside? My Africa is dark skies, bright stars and brilliant minds. My name is Freddie Marang. I'm telescope operator here at SAAO in Sutherland, and I'm from Cape Town, South Africa. I never really got into Cape Town, the hustle and bustle of big city life. Although I played in a band, I went to nightclubs and I enjoyed life there, but deep down there's always been that small voice calling out for peace and quiet and tranquility. Deep down inside I was really a upcountry boy. Luckily I stumbled across this job which turned around everything for me. We observe unknown stars in order to find out what they are.
Fred Marang has been the watchman for the stars for over 40 years.
My description will have to be of a night in the life of a telescope operator. I typically come in just after sunset, do a quick check on the image quality of the telescope, having looked at all the different parameters, the weather, the wind speed and the clarity of the sky and so forth and so forth. I will then open up the shutter and we can start observing. We should now see this part of the sky.
Fred operates SAAO, the Southern African Large Telescope. Astronomers all over the world use its data to discover and investigate black holes, white dwarfs and beyond.
SAAO is the largest telescope in the whole southern hemisphere. This is 8:30 now. It's time to open the dome. There are just so many things to keep an eye on. You need eyes in the back of your head. So Alexia has just sent me the coordinates of the next object. I select it there and all the information appears in this observation box, and all I need to do now is to press point to target. And you'll see the structure lift up. So now once that is on target, we should see an image from the telescope when we turn the camera on.
Fred made an exciting discovery of an eclipsing binary in 1993 and has co-authored 111 peer-reviewed papers.
It all started in 1978. I was working for a television manufacturer in Cape Town. 2-3 years down the line, sales dropped and a lot of the staff didn't want to go along with the factory, so we were laid off. I'm married to a Sutherland lady And from visiting Sutherland, I knew about the observatory here. So I decided to apply for a job here. And 2 weeks later, I got a telegram inviting me for an interview. Went for the interview, and the people were impressed with my knowledge. And another 2 weeks later, I got another telegram asking me to move up to Sutherland. What you see behind me here is the dome of the 1.9 meter telescope, and this is the first telescope where I've learned to drive a telescope. So I was then called a night assistant, and my duties were to assist the 1.9 meter telescope observer and also to prepare and develop the photographic plates. After having done that for a while, I was promoted to do observations on my own. I mean, to be able to operate these big professional telescopes single-handedly and provide the astronomical data in the morning was a great achievement for me.
After 5 years of construction, SAAO came online in 2005, and Fred was one of the first to operate it.
This telescope behind me here is the SAAO, which is my favorite telescope. Not because it's the largest telescope in Africa, but because it's a challenge to operate it every night, and it is really pushing the boundaries of science as we go. This telescope is twin of the Hobby Eberly telescope in Texas. The telescope can basically see out to the edge of the observable universe. When we look up at the sky with a telescope of this size, we actually look back in time. If you look at the nearest star, Alpha Centauri, you see it tonight as it was 4.5 years ago. If you look at distant galaxies and quasars, you see what they were looking like 14 billion years ago. So this is actually a time machine. Thank you, meneer.
You need a very good seeing measurement tool to be able to make sure your science is done correctly. And it seems like the seeing tool that we use here at SAAO is calibrated by Fred's eyes. So he's the man there.
I think I have made some sort of impact already, although I would have liked to do more. I don't see myself sitting on a canvas chair with a fishing rod yet. I think there's still a few years of mileage in me, and I want to put it to good use. But what I have done gives me enough satisfaction to be able to look back and say I have made my contribution to the advancement of science in Africa.